Hello and welcome to Always with Awareness. My name is Awa Lodmel.
And I'm Douglas Lodmel. And today we want to talk about the importance of travel and exposure to different cultures and how that is just such a critical thing in the development of a person.
That's right.
So, I mean, you know, for those of you who might not have seen us before, I was raised in America. I'm an American. You were raised in Senegal.
Absolutely.
But we have both been very fortunate to get exposed to really a lot of this world.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask, you know, how did that affect you? What was the impact of that? Do you even remember like the first time you traveled and how it changed your mindset or how you saw other people?
That's a long time ago. I was born and raised in Dakar, Senegal. The first time I left home, I was 14. I remember going to Italy, actually, visiting my best friend. And I say hi to Nyanya and her family. And it was beautiful. It was just amazing to be in a different country. Not much with the different people, because I was already in Dakar, as the capital of Senegal, with the big port. So I grew up already being in touch with a lot of different people, culture, black, white, Asian, you know. There was a very rich childhood already with different types of food. And my mom, uncle had left and went to the war and came back with different types of way of cooking. So I didn't go the first time to Europe thinking, oh my God, everything is new. But was different is, of course, the cities, being in a big city, the architecture, the loudness of the Italians.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just very enriching.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I got my love for traveling, and I was inspired by my brothers and sisters, my elders, who were already left home, and you know, then I went back. It was Paris, and I traveled a lot, and I think that opened me to the point where I could live in America now, almost full time, married to a white American.
The super gringo.
Super gringo. And I think all of that is just exposure, you know, exposure. But there is exposure, but there is also letting the place where you are and these new people touch you and inspire you. Because I'm not saying that everybody that travel will be changing or practicing new things. You know, I've seen people that travel all over, but nothing had changed.
Yeah.
They still eat the same food, talk to the same friends. They're very nostalgic of their past. And that wasn't the case for me. And I love traveling, and I love being touched, inspired by other cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, for me, I think it's more dramatic because I'm an American, because I was raised in a place where half the people don't even have a passport.
That's right.
And to travel, the first time I really traveled, my dad took my brother and I around the world. So
That's a
we
gift.
literally started in Europe, and we traveled all through Europe and drove through part of it and stayed, but we really stayed. We stayed for a week at a time here, and then we went to India, and then Asia, Hong Kong, Singapore,
Wow.
all the way back around Hawaii, and almost everywhere we were staying with friends, locals. I got back from that trip, and I know my brother got back from that trip because he doesn't even live in America now. I mean, that affected him. It affected both of us a great deal.
Yeah.
But it really changed my perspective, and my first thought was, every child needs to do this.
That's right.
And I was 16, I was 15. I was just at that age where it was very impactful, but I was old enough to see it.
Yeah.
Not so young that it was just a blur like when you're 7 or 8, but those teenage years, and I tell my own kids now, our kids get a lot of travel. their cousins live in Europe.
Yeah.
Our son went and lived in Europe for a year. Our daughter speaks Wolof and French. And,
Yes.
you know, they're very traveled because of our lifestyle.
That's right.
Because of our family, because we go to Africa, because your family is still there. And we're very connected. But I tell them, go. I tried to convince our daughter to take a year off, a gap year. I'm like, go travel the world. And,
That's right.
you know.
Yeah, I think that lowers a lot of fears that is being sold
Yes.
as people being strangers to you.
Yeah.
I live in a world that I know most people do not live. And when I say in the world, it is within me, my world. I do not have any fear of any other humans, you know.
For sure.
And that opened me to speak today 4 languages. I feel like it's amazing.
It's
the
amazing.
minute you speak somebody's language, and you don't care how you're speaking it,
Yeah.
there's a connection.
You
right
don't
there.
care. If you're trying, they're connected.
Exactly. If you're even trying, they're connected. That is one of my biggest wealth, I believe, is to be able to connect easily with people. And that wouldn't have happened if I did not travel and meet other people. And when I say meet other people, is go to their homes, make sure you talk to the strangers on the street, ask questions. Like I said, let yourself be touched, moved, and inspired. Yeah. Most people, they might as well stay in America, because if you're just going to a cruise and you're staying in the hotel where you all Americans and you're afraid and barricade yourself because you're afraid that somebody will steal or rob. I'm not saying it's not there out to some places, but most of the world is not like that.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like they show us on TV.
No, and I mean, I've been in countries that were on the advisory list, don't go, from the State Department. I went to Sierra Leone. The UN was still there. It was literally just months after the Civil War had ended. There were people with guns and checkpoints, and that affected me a great deal, because what you see on TV, it's just like, if you just take a camera and only shoot the action, you miss the whole rest of the experience.
Absolutely.
And even in a place that was still not advised to go to and was not safe,
That's right.
I felt incredibly safe. And it also just changed my context of the way I saw the news. And today we don't watch the news. It's because it represents this very slanted, all news, very slanted, fear-based trigger to try to keep you watching, so that you keep watching, so that they can sell more advertising.
Yeah.
And so we just don't watch the news, because it's not a fair representation. But when you go to a country that is in the news and you feel it for yourself,
That's right.
it is radically different.
That's
and when you talk to the people, I think what I learned the most about traveling is just how much we are all the same.
We are all the same.
I mean, I have laughed and joked with people that I don't speak their language, and it's the same jokes, and what's funny to me is funny to them, and you're translating, and sometimes you're not even translating, you're just acting it out, and it's amazing.
That's right.
Amazing. It just changes your world, makes you less afraid of people, less afraid of what's happening in the world, less focused on this negative storyline that's out there that somehow we all need to be afraid of everything.
Yeah.
It's not true.
It is not.
We don't need to be afraid of other people in this world. Other people are the gift for us, and you can't get to it without traveling.
No, you cannot get to it without traveling. And again, I went to Haiti right after the big earthquake.
Yeah, and that's a no-go place, right?
That was a no-go place. And I had the most amazing experience.
Yeah.
I was touched by the people, how they lived. I see the connection there. I had less fear, because the fear was built within me. But if I just stop and watch for what it is, and not adding my drama, my story, my emotion to it, everybody was fine.
Yeah.
They were fine. Kids were laughing. Even under the rooms, they were laughing.
Yeah.
The mothers were cooking. I had an epiphany. I was in a taxi leaving Haiti, the town where we were building.
Port-au-Prince? Oh, Lacaille?
Lacaille.
Yeah.
Leaving Lacaille for Port-au-Prince.
Yeah.
I'm in the taxi. It's a sunset. And it's almost like I could feel a voice inside of me just say, turn around. And I turn around and I look at this man. He was standing at the red light and he had a bowl of soup. It was if I could feel what he was feeling in the midst of all of this. If I was picking up his thoughts, and his thoughts were, I'm going home to have dinner with my family. And I smiled and I laughed and I said, all this fear that they're selling us, human beings are resistant. So beautiful. It's almost like we get tested when those things happen. You have to go there to be touched, moved, and inspired.
Yeah.
I will wish for every one of you to go to those scary places that you have built in your mind and go see for yourself. See who you meet there for yourself. That changed my life about Haiti and Haitians. I was like, yeah, they're just like us. They prepared, just like I was preparing for a hurricane in Miami. It happened to hit, but it doesn't make them scary. It doesn't make them poor. It doesn't make them needing me. I mean, there was no need. There was more, if anything, respect and connection.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And the same thing they're selling us, they were selling them.
Yeah.
Because I remember being in the restaurant and there was this beautiful black girl who was the servant, waitress. And she's serving me the food. And I was complimenting her, telling her how beautiful she is. And you know what she said? No, you are beautiful. I said, no, you're gorgeous. I see myself in you. She's like, but I am black. I'm like, but what am I? I mean, it was just to tell you how conditioned the mind can be, where she couldn't see that I was black too.
Yeah.
Like you can do it. You can travel. You are not black. I'm like, I am black. She had to stop, and I can see her brain go zzz. And she looked at me and she said, you're right. I'm sorry, but I feel like I am not you. I can't do it. I said, yes, you can. And in that moment, we share a very precious moment. That girl today had changed her life. She stopped being a waitress and go for the passion of her life, which was to do hair, or I don't remember exactly, but I remember after leaving Haiti that she had shared with me how she went back home, ran home, talked to her grandma and her mom, and it was just like she was realizing that what she was sold about herself was not right.
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't need to travel, but people travel to you.
Well, you don't know also what gift you are to someone when you travel.
Absolutely.
I can tell you. Now, and the places that impact me the most were not Europe, not going to the islands in Greece or going to, London or Paris. It was going to Africa. It was going to Bolivia. It was going to Haiti. It was going to the places that are not on the tourist map. that when you go, you are meeting people that don't see you very often, or maybe never have seen someone that looks like you.
That's right.
And you're connecting with them, and it changes the context, because when you go and you live for even a week, it's a life-changing experience for everybody involved.
That's right.
And we all move.
Yeah.
The fear is lessened for all of us. We all are lowered. And let me tell you, as an American, going to Africa the first time, I didn't realize the prejudices I had as an American until I tried to apply them in Africa. And they didn't work.
It didn't
because
work.
everyone was black.
Yes.
And therefore, I could not apply any prejudices because I didn't have anybody else. So it would just.
You were the minority.
I was the minority, but I was also, nothing applied. Nothing of my old prejudices of growing up. And if you think you don't have any, just travel and you'll see them. You do have them. And, you know, it's not that you need to say, I don't have any prejudices. I'm not, because that's just, we all do. We are human. We are raised with prejudices. We are raised with preconceived ideas about what this group looks like or what this group means or the significance of this other group. But when you travel, it flips. It short circuits your prejudices and makes you reevaluate everything. And then when you get back to your own world, everything is different.
Yes.
All of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, I have changed. I have rewired something inside of me.
Yeah.
And that's the point. That's what we're trying to do.
Makes your life a little bit better.
More than a little bit.
You know, because prejudice are just heavy. You know, you're carrying all these stories. I remember years back when we did Landmark, one of the teachers was very funny because to show us our stories and how we carry them, she just keep on adding stuff on him. He carried the chair, the mic, the thing, to the point the guy just like, you couldn't even see him.
Covered with crap, carrying all this stuff.
And that's what we do in this mind. We use it as a closet. I mean, it's worse than our closet. We throw all this shit we have in there. And I'm sorry, until you go out there and realize that, wow, how do they do it? This is a person just like me. Like I was sharing with Haiti, we just had an earthquake. Why are they still laughing? Why is the mom still cooking under this broken home? Why are the kids still laughing? Because you, in your mind, at home, you had already killed yourself.
Yeah.
That's it, forget it. You think you are not even going to survive that. And yet, they did.
Yeah.
You know, and you go to Africa and the way they show it to you is dirty, it's this, it's that. And you go there like you think you need the AC. I remember going to Futa, where I'm from, my father is from there, and in the village. I mean, it's hot like Arizona, and really, you are no AC. The only AC maybe is in the main bedroom of the elders. But I had the best sleep. I slept. Why? Because I didn't have any resistance about the people or the weather or the this and the that, and I guess and the cold shower, and I guess my mind relaxed, and that was the most beautiful week. You know, it's our resistance, our prejudice is making you not living the life you're supposed to live.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Resistance equals suffering.
Suffering.
I remember getting in a car in Africa. It was an old Mercedes, and my brother's as big as me. The guy we were with was as big as both of us, and then the driver is this tiny little guy. But you know, we're all three big giant guys trying to sit in this little car. We had our knees up to our face, and we said, "How long is this going to take?" It was like 6 hours, and in America. Any other context, I would have said, unacceptable. I'm not sitting in a car with no air conditioning in the middle of summer, driving 6 hours where I am literally cramped up like, and for some, because I was out of my context, because I wanted to go to the village that we were going to, I just switched my mind and said, I'm gonna be, and frankly, my brother did the same. We both just sat and basically in meditation the entire time.
Oh, how beautiful.
And just accepted, and the drive went like that.
Yeah.
Even though the car broke down in the middle. And I remember it broke down in the middle, and we're in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And we get out, and we just walk around, and I just knew, okay, whatever happens is fine.
And those stories, I have to say, those are the stories that build us.
Yeah.
Build our inner strength. Because believe me, after that, I can be in any home if there is no AC. It's okay. Yeah. I'm not going to die.
Yeah. Right.
I'm not going to die because I'm going to be showering with cold water, you know. And now the thing is, cold water is good
Everybody's
for you.
Everybody's saying, shower in cold water.
Exactly. You know, I'm not going to die because I'm on a mattress on the floor. even having a mattress on the floor for some people is luxury.
Yeah.
You are on the floor, period. I mean, and that gives me, and it adds to the relationship you were talking about. You cannot have a relationship with people if the one you have within yourself is built of fear and resentment and just uninspiring.
Well,
if your own story is not strengthening you back on the low season, because life is seasons, you're going to go through those seasons. And on the low seasons, you just wish you had built enough strength, inner strength, to remember exactly how strong you are.
Yeah. Even doing it once, even doing something that you didn't think you would ever have to do, and doing it once, forever, you're able to call that back up and go, well, I know I can do it. Yeah. I remember once I fasted for a week. Forever, I know I can choose not to have food. It made me stronger because I did it once in my life.
Absolutely.
One time.
Yeah.
But didn't matter. Once I did it once, I knew I could do it again. And then I fasted for a month this year.
Yeah.
Because I knew I could do it. And it's just challenge yourself and travel to a place that you think is scary on top of it.
Oh.
Pick something. Pick something. Pick
Yeah.
Indonesia. Pick Asia. Pick India. Pick Africa. Pick Haiti. Pick South America. Pick somewhere where you think
you're going to be triggered to hell.
Triggered to hell. Yeah. But pick a place that doesn't have.
Be safe.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, be safe. But it doesn't have all the amenities that you want. That doesn't have all the stuff. Go in some capacity where you're going to be with the people.
Yes.
A lot of organizations will do it where you go and you build a house in the village, or you go and you do a project. Those are great things to do.
Yeah.
Something. Get yourself out there. I have a lot of friends I grew up with that were Mormon. And the mission that they do, the young people do, the Mormons do their 2-year mission, it's one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen. The impact that has on those young people, my best friends growing up, was significant and real and beneficial. I myself said, I wish I could go on a mission. I'm not Mormon, but I want to go on a mission too.
But yeah, it is very, and this is the reason why we're here and why we're doing this, is to share this moment that lifted our spirit. And we want to share that with you so that the day you are not inspired, out of spirit, into your emotions, that you remember that somebody believed in you, did it, and is telling you, you are capable of getting yourself out of your hole.
Yeah.
Right? And those times when you travel, those times where you get sick from a food and come back from it, just because you get sick, because before you even eat the food, you have all these story about it to the point you get yourself sick, So, because it's amazing what we can build when we're fearful in our mind.
Well, and the more we experience the things that we think we fear, the less the fear is.
That's right.
And the more, I can tell you right now, I can look at the news or TV or a program, I can look at a country I've never been in, and I can feel it.
Yeah.
Because I've been in so many countries and so many situations, I just know what it would feel like.
To be there.
I've never been to Indonesia, but when I see a picture of Jakarta, I'm like, I know what that would feel like.
And you'll be fine.
And I'd be fine because I've been in Bombay.
Exactly.
I can tell. What I have experienced has taught me how to integrate what I haven't experienced. And it lowers my fear. And I know that those people are the same as me.
That's right.
They're the same as the people in India. They're the same as the people in Asia. They're the same as the people in Mexico.
Yeah.
We're all the same people.
Yeah.
We are all the same people. And until we get that, until we realize that our interests are not different from each other, we're going to keep fighting over meaningless stuff, which is irrelevant.
That's right.
And let other people lead us by the nose over issues and politics and crap that none of it means anything except this relationship that we have with each other.
Yeah, and it's so far. This is the thing in life: is either you are inspired to move forward, or you are dispirited, where you are fatigued, handicapped, emotionally. That starts there, but then physically too. That's the next one after emotionally. And just because of the bullshit story we have for one another. So if you want to be inspired, if you want to be waking up every day feeling like the world is shining within you, that you are here present, that alone is a blessing, and let alone with billions of people that are all your brothers and sisters and your friend. Nobody's here to attack you, you know. Unless you do something wrong, there is nothing to fear. Then you have a beautiful life. And yes, we do encourage you to get that passport, to travel, to trigger yourself. I mean, leave your bottom, whatever that fear is, bring it up. Go to those scary places, those scary moments, because that's how we heal each other. It's that simple. You know, like I said again, I keep saying I don't read books because at some point you have to stop the reading and practicing what you're reading. If anybody has shared their experience of life, how they did it themselves, it's not for you to just read it and close the book. It's for you to read it and look how in your life that will inspire you back to get back on the train of life, get back on the saddle, get back to be in touch with people. You are not alone. The saddest thing is now you can have millions of people in the same room and everybody feeling lonely. That's a sad thing.
Yeah, it's kind of the
And
modern
COVID didn't
sickness.
help. Yeah, and COVID didn't help, you
Right.
know. So let's get back to traveling, trusting one another, and sharing our experiences. Absolutely.
And if you can't travel, invite someone that is traveling.
Oh, yeah.
Invite someone from a different culture to come and be with you, live with you, and become friends with them. Find people, seek out the experiences of people that are not looking just like you. And in your town and in your high school, and that is the only experience you have. Find people who are different. Find people that make you feel uncomfortable and find out why. Investigate your trigger around that. Become friends with them and realize, oh my gosh, this person is not different than me.
And if you're not doing it, you're going to be left out. Because the way now with technology, and the way I see this new generation now, how they're very open, I mean, there's no borders for them anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know who has borders, but it's not this new generation.
Yeah.
They're going to travel, they're going to meet other people, they're going to bring you black, white, Asian, whatever. So get on track, open yourself, because you never know what the universe will serve you.
Yeah.
I was blessed to have parents that were very open-minded, and in my home there was every culture you can think of that come through it, you know, because like I was saying earlier, Dakar is a big port. Back then there was no airplanes, it was just the boats coming there, and almost the whole boat was eating from my family. So we seen Russians, Italians, Americans, you know, and today that made me this person that not only speak different languages, but is not afraid of people. And to top that, I was raised with an aunt that was mute.
Oh yeah, deaf.
And deaf. So I have the language of the universal language of just the body language.
Yeah.
That was a plus.
And it wasn't a standard sign language. It was just a sign language your family had developed.
Absolutely.
But I've watched you communicate with her. It's like sign language. It's just this whole thing, and you're completely communicating with her. And it's like there was no fear. There's no barrier there.
And that taught me that if today any of us would lose the language, we would still communicate.
Yeah.
We would still communicate.
Absolutely.
That was the gift of my aunt. Now, because we like to always label things and put it in some boxes, now we're going to teach the sign language a way to talk that is so different from just how we feel and how we talk, that if you don't go and learn it, you won't be able to talk with them. But it's not true.
Yeah.
My aunt didn't have any sign language, but she understands everything, and we do talk to her 24 hours, and she raised all of us.
Yeah.
You know, so there is this thing that we share, this mind that we share, this love that we share, that is universal. It's everywhere if you choose to see it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So we morphed from go take a vacation to travel to expand your horizon, travel to expand your life,
Yeah.
expand your mind,
Yeah.
And you said your parents were very open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you, I can't say enough how important it is to have an open mind.
Oh.
To not be rigid in your mind that this is the only way. Because a closed mind is just a judgmental mind.
Yeah.
And judgment leads to suffering. It's that simple. Judgment leads to suffering.
Yeah.
It's not for us to judge anybody or anything. It's for us to be open and try to find that gift in there. What is it that we're being offered by the universe? What is it that we're here to hear? And I can tell you most of my biggest gifts were in the places that until I opened my mind to look, I couldn't see. My gifts were hidden behind the open mind.
Yeah.
I had to open my mind to find them because they were all there.
Yeah.
But as my mind was closed, that this is the right way to do things, and this is the right thing, and this is the way these people are, and this is the way I am, and all that, till I started questioning that.
That's
and
right.
investigating it,
Yeah.
and breaking down the barriers by putting myself in situations which my prejudices didn't apply. All of a sudden my mind opened, and there was the gift.
Yeah.
To the point where I end up married to an African
Right.
goddess.
Well, this is the thing. It's judgment we will all have. But it's not for the other person.
Yeah.
It's for you. It's for you to see where your next work lies.
Right.
When I see myself judging anything right now, which is a judgment is just a label.
It's
That's
just
all.
a thought.
It's just a thought, good or bad, by the way. Even
Yeah.
the good ones, you have to stop and say, is it true?
Right.
Is it still serving me? Even a good one.
Oh, they're equal.
Exactly, they're equal. So it's not to erase it, it's not to fight it, it's to be aware of it. When we're aware of something, whatever it is, we feel connected to it in a different way. That awareness is the reminder of who you really are. So, and to have that awareness, you don't stop the judgment, you cannot. You cannot fight it, you cannot. You cannot erase it, you cannot. But you can look at it with no judgment and say, look at me thinking this.
Yeah.
It's just a thought.
That alone.
That
just
alone.
Permissioning yourself
Yes.
to look at your own thoughts without judgment, especially the judgments.
Yeah.
So when you see your mind make a judgment and say something about someone you see on the street, for example, to
That was
stop
me.
and say, oh, that's interesting that
Yeah.
my mind said that.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you've separated yourself from that thought, and it's no longer you.
That's
And once it's no longer you, it no longer makes you feel bad to have thought it.
That's right.
And so your guilt around thinking it is now removed, and then you can look at it and say, oh, is that true? Is that true that that person is a bum?
Yeah.
That that person is a drag on society? Is that true?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I get to actually ask the question for real.
See it
instead of
properly.
just making the assumption that my thoughts that come
Exactly.
are true. And
Yeah.
Course in Miracles says none of us have had a wholly true thought ever.
Ever.
So I take that to heart and I say, well, none of my thoughts are true.
Yeah.
None of them.
Well, that was the gift in Haiti.
Yeah.
I mean, the fear that had built up within me with the people that I was with, like, oh, don't go to certain places. And that night we were going to Port-au-Prince. There was already, and Port-au-Prince.
No lights, no
No
power,
lights,
no
no
nothing.
power. We were going to a hotel with no lights, no power. The fear was so big, and it was just like a gift. Like it was so built up that something had to let go.
Yeah.
And to let go was to just see that man with the bowl of soup crossing the street. And when I connected with that, I realized I was just surrounded by people just like me, going on with their life after a hurricane. There was nothing else.
Yeah.
And that was the beauty of it. So again, travel, get the passport, go eat the food you're so afraid of, you end up loving it just like your mom.
Oh my God. Go eat the real food.
Exactly. Ask questions to people that you think they're different than you, and then you realize how much you have in common.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And if you have a hobby, if
Yeah.
you're a painter, if you're a surfer, if you're like to do video, bring your hobby. Do it there.
Yeah.
Share it with them.
That's right.
Invite them into your world. If you play an instrument, bring the instrument. Just go and be in the community of the world in a place that you never thought you would, and see what happens to yourself. See what happens, and please encourage your children to do this.
Yeah.
Please don't keep them home. Don't make them feel like America is so great that they don't need to investigate the world. America is great. I love America. I love the idea of America. What we have done here is unbelievable, and I'm very proud to be an American.
Absolutely.
But I would be a poor American had I not traveled. I am so much more wealthy as a person because I traveled outside of America. And then I'm here because I choose to be here.
That's right. Yeah, and that frees you to have a choice too.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm free to choose.
Free to
My
choose.
brother chose to be in Portugal. Free to choose.
Free to choose.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, great, Daddy.
Yeah. So thank you again for joining us in our alternate location. If you hadn't noticed, we are now in Colorado. So we're cowboys this week. I'm wearing a different shirt. You've got a hat on, wearing your cowgirl dresses. And but we brought the cameras because we love doing this, and we're not going to stop. And so we got to keep it up. And
we're not stopping as long as these comments are coming and all this love. We're not stopping.
Yeah, and really, we love your comments. We love them. We read them all. Please comment. Please subscribe. Please go to YouTube where the main channel is and subscribe. That's where you really want to go, because that's where the full-length videos are. That's where all the other stuff. If you're seeing us on Instagram and all those other places, those are great. We love the reels. But the full-length videos, I think, is where the real meat of what we're talking about lives. So please subscribe there and watch those shows.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.